part of the team. Part of the team, man. Can't tell you part of the team.
Welcome to Tampa Bay. We fuck 'em up when we raise the flag. Fire the cannons and seize the day. The crew's ready, all hands on deck.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another edition of the Loose Cannons. I'm your boy Sam. We're hanging out with Stank. Still no Poppy. We have received correspondence, though. He's somehow found himself to Argentina. He is partying. There are more strippers, way more cocaine, and he's partying with fucking Messi. Like, what an amazing birthday week this has turned out for Poppy Latte. Poppy, we love you, bro. You enjoy the fuck out of that cocaine. But you know what? You know what we have tonight?
Speaking of cocaine,
all right, we have the new host of the J&Z show on 95.3 WDAE, Zac Blobner. Welcome to the Loose Cannons, man.
Happy to be here. You know, I didn't bring any soccer. I didn't bring any cocaine or strippers, so I can't be Poppy for y'all, but I'll do my best to fill in.
don't worry. We always keep that energy here. That's the bar right there on this show.
This is a very high cocaine energy type of pod.
By the way, Sammer, your beard has never looked worse. I'm just going to say it outright to everybody watching right now.
Whoa.
I agree. Listen, I've had the flu for a week. Haven't been able to, give myself some self-love, and I agree. I look I can't even look at myself in the mirror as many times as I usually do, all right? I think today I only looked at myself like 12 times. And that's like a third of what I usually do.
Third of how you normally check yourself out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the guy that goes back and forth in front of the window just to be like, oh, yeah, there it is.
Stank, how long were you waiting to say that? Because there's a pre-show meeting that I did with you guys.
I almost said it
What a piece of shit.
during
What
our
a
talk
piece of
earlier,
shit.
but I had to save it for everybody because everybody has to know how I feel. Look, listen, these motherfuckers don't ever let me slide with anything. So
No, that's true. Hey, Zach, the Bucs are gonna ruin everyone's Christmas. Apparently, Christmas night.
sure
too.
are.
Not even like Christmas Day, where you still have like the rest of the day to kind of get over it. They're waiting for you to have that fucking ham and really sit down and like make you fucking throw that shit up. Are we gonna get diced and sliced by another fucking young quarterback in his first start? A long fucking line of these motherfuckers too, man. Like, what, Zach? Are we gonna have a good Christmas, or is this gonna be terrible?
Oh, it's going to be jingle balls. It's going to be good times. I think the Bucs are going to dominate the Cardinals. The Cardinals suck. Look, I know the Bucs aren't playing great football, but Arizona's given up more points than anybody else in the NFL. I mean, if you take a lot of what the Bucs did, given not the 5 turnovers, 4 of which were from Tom Brady, but if you take all the other things, the motion that they're running, Mike Evans targets, Russell Gage doing things, Joe and Shoyinka sacks, like there's so many things that they did right. But the Bengals are just a really good team, and then the turnovers doomed them. But if they do those things against the Cardinals, they're going to win by double digits. So, I mean, will they do those things? That's a different chat. But I'm oddly optimistic. That's kind of been my whole vibe this week.
I was going to say, I've listened to your show this week. Somehow you came out of last week's game with a lot of positivity. You're the only one, by the way.
I know.
The only person anywhere, national, local, that feels that way. How does it feel to be the only person that still believes in this team?
Oh, man, it feels like a curse. Like I've had Bucs fans angry at me before, but never for being optimistic, right? Like I've had Bucs
You're getting
fans
people that are mad at you for
they're like, yo, you're an asshole. What do you mean we're going to win? And I'm like, no, that's a good thing. Like, why are you angry with me?
Because you're missing the point,
right.
Zach.
What's the point?
They had the formula the entire time. Why are we fucking patting them on the goddamn back because they figured it out. If they could do this against the Cardinals. Yeah, dude, they could have done it against the fucking Steelers. They could have done it against the fucking Panthers. They could have done it against the fucking anyone. Literally anyone we played. We wouldn't have to do that nonsense at the end of the Rams game or at the end of the Saints game. Like, that shouldn't have happened.
I agree.
The formula was there.
I don't disagree. I mean, that's the part that like shocks me though, right? Because we're 15 weeks in. We've been saying that. Like, this is what you do. This is how you run the offense. This is how you call the plays. These are the kind of players you should be targeting. Like, all those things we've been saying. So when we went into the Cincinnati game, my thought was it's going to be exactly what we expect, which is bullshit. It's not going to be a fun game. It's going to be all the things that we hoped wouldn't happen happening. And then what do you know? They're throwing on first down. Oh, my God, Mike Evans catching the ball. Who's this Russell Gage guy getting involved? Shoyinka actually sacked the guy instead of over pursuing and just being at the party without enjoying it. So all these things are happening, and it's so funny because we have the cliche heading into that game of like, we're that deep in the season, we know who the Bucs are. They are who they are. They are who their record says they are. But honestly, the first half kind of said everything oppositely. It's like, no, they're still figuring things out and actually finding ways to win, even though it's been obvious to us for whatever reason, whether it's stubbornness or just, I mean, really, it's only stubbornness because I don't think that the staff is stupid. Like, I don't think these people are unintelligent. Like, they're very smart to be where they're at, to learn the playbook, to be in the position that they are. I think they've just been so stubborn for whatever reason in the first half against the Cincinnati Bengals. They changed their mind. Now, will they do that for two halves against a worse Arizona team? I can't think of any logical reason that they wouldn't. That doesn't mean that they won't, but I can't think of a logical reason that they wouldn't.
Nothing they did against the Panthers is logical. Nothing they did against the Saints or the Steelers is logical. I mean, unless they get a lead, I think they're not going to push the envelope. That's what I'm afraid of, is that, like, they're going to start the game pushing the envelope. But then if they build a lead, are they going to come back off of it? Which is, like, terribly frightening. But would that have mattered if Tom Brady didn't, shit his depends 4 times? Maybe not. Who knows?
Right.
But I agree. This is a substantially worse team than us in the Cardinals. But so were the Panthers, so were the Steelers. So I don't know. I usually don't have the PTSD this tank does.
Normally,
but I am having so much trouble being a fanatic of this team and just blindly, like, diving all in. I'm sure by Sunday night when the game kicks off, I'll be, right back there being that guy. But leading up to it, I can't find the positives that, like, ring true throughout 60 minutes of a game anymore.
So I think one of the areas I look back to, Super Bowl year, right? You beat Kansas, or you don't beat Kansas City, you lose. You play the first half and it is bad. Second half looks really good. Then you go into the bye week and then you rattle off 4 wins, I think, before the postseason. I think it's a similar thing. Now, there's no bye week. We already saw that. It's gone. But I think even though the halves were flipped, there's enough positives in the first half, just like in Kansas City's game that Super Bowl year, the regular season one. There were so many positives in the second half that the coaching staff took that. Again, they had Bruce Arians there. I get it, in different players. But just conceptually, it's similar how you can take all the stuff that worked in the first half, apply that to the Arizona game. And then if you get that win and it works, you're going to do it again against Carolina. Should give you the same result. Same thing with Atlanta. It's right there. It's right on the doorstep. All they have to do is use the things that worked in the first half. It's not like a bold thing to say. They can rattle off 3 wins against, again, lesser opponents. I know Carolina has already beat the Bucs, and I understand that Atlanta's not just going to roll over, and you never know what's going to happen, right? It's the NFL. Teams that are expected to lose win, vice versa. But, like, for me, it's still not crazy to think that because of that first half, they can rattle off 3 wins against lesser opponents, find some mojo, get into the postseason, host a game, and then go from there.
Yeah, but Zach, listen, we've been capable of doing everything we did in the first half, right? So to me, it tells me it's psychological. Like, they are scared, and coming off the worst second half in at least modern fucking Brady era. I don't know. I didn't watch every Patriots game. I have no idea if he literally shit himself like he did.
This has never happened.
In the second half of this game.
That's
what everybody's saying. So where are we psychologically? Because it's easy to say, oh, we'll just recreate what we did in the first half. That dude fell apart. I mean, he fucking fell apart. And so if that guy's falling apart and he's supposed to be the barometer, he's supposed to be the guy that sets the fucking tone. He's supposed to be the guy that comes in the locker room and stares through your soul and gets you to motivates you to play better. So if that guy's falling apart, are we going to be able to get up for a game like this? I get it's Christmas Day, it's fucking whatever. But we just can't seem to get up for any game, at least, and hold that momentum. As soon as one thing goes wrong, we fold. It's like a boxer who, like almost like Mike Tyson, right? His whole career, he was fucking invincible till his ass got knocked out. And then after that, he gradually, all his fights, he kind of looked average after a while because that chin got tested. And our chin has been tested, and we keep folding every single fucking time.
Yeah.
So psychologically, can we bounce back from this? We are supposed to beat. They know that. The guys in the locker room know we're supposed to dominate this shitty Arizona team. We're supposed to dominate them. What happens when we don't? What happens when they come out and it's 14-0 Arizona for some fucking reason? Are we going to be able to find that intestinal fortitude and fight back and punch back and win a game like that? That's what I want to see.
No, the answer is no.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But I don't think that's going to happen, though. I don't think Arizona's going to come out and, score 14 unanswered points. Again,
I
I'm
don't
not saying
think Jaguars are going to beat Dallas either. It's the fucking NFL. Anything can happen, right?
pick six in overtime. Well, yeah, anything can happen. That goes both ways, though. We could have Brady come out and look like the MVP caliber player he was last season, and all of a sudden, some of the things start to work. I mean, that's the part of it that I think we've lost here in Tampa Bay is that the anything can happen. That there's, the Bucs are bad. Like, there's a lot of things that we're talking about in Tampa Bay that are applicable on the other side of it too. Like Arizona is really bad, worse than the Bucs. So are the Panthers, in my opinion. And I think definitely Atlanta is too. So this was like last week, I was having a conversation where people were expecting the Panthers to beat the Steelers and for the Bucs to lose to the Bengals. Now the Bucs did lose to the Bengals, but they had them for a half. And guess what? The Panthers lost to a bad Pittsburgh team. So I think this is one of the more unique scenarios any NFL team's ever been in because the NFC South is so bad, because Tom Brady is freaking Tom Brady and he plays for the team that is in charge of the division at 6-8. It's just unique. If the Bucs were in any other division, and I use the Packers as the example because they're 6-8, but like, is anybody buying Packers stock right now? And then they got to play Miami.
Aaron Rodgers is.
Yeah, well, he's got his own issues to deal with both on and off the field. But
I don't think he even believes it.
No, have you seen his interviews this week, bro?
But if the Packers were in the NFC South, wouldn't you be like, I could see that?
Yeah, because of Aaron Rodgers, because they have that guy.
Why not Tom Brady? Why aren't we doing the same thing with Brady?
Because
I don't know.
Tom hasn't looked like Tom, Zach.
Neither has Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has not looked good this year. I've seen him make in the red zone I honestly short-handed throws.
I personally don't feel this way because of Tom. Even though Tom hasn't played well, I don't think that my doubts in this team are because of Tom. My doubts in this team are because of the way they're being led. And okay. I don't think this whole I don't think that hanging everything on Byron is fair because I still believe that Byron is doing what his boss is telling him to do. Otherwise, he would have been fired by now. And until his boss decides to fire him, it's a different story. But I think that Byron is doing what he's being asked to do. And that's where the problem is for me, is that Todd Bowles is happy with a 17-3 lead. He's okay winning on defense. He's Tony Dungy in 2022 when that doesn't work. It just does not work. Everything is skewed. The rules are skewed for the offense to score points. The NFL wants to see points. And you know what? Sometimes the other team's going to get a fucking lucky bounce like they did in Cleveland. You can't sit back and just hope that your defense is going to play perfect all the time. And they've proven that they've had a couple games where they just completely shit the bed. But you know what? If all three phases are operating at fucking full maximum capacity, you can have one phase take a dump. But we have all too often this season, it's been the defense operating at full capacity and everything else just kind of dragging behind. And sometimes we wake up. Sometimes we don't. No, my problem is I don't have the confidence that this team being led by Todd Bowles, who I fucking love, by the way. He's such a cool dude. Awesome defensive coordinator. But when it comes to being a head coach, he just makes these decisions where like, dude, just keep the fucking foot on the gas. That's all you got to do in the NFL nowadays.
Yeah, and the failure seems to come everywhere at the most inopportune times, right? Yeah, our defense has been solid, but right now we're kind of banged up, right? We still got Sean Murphy, Bunting, and D. Delaney out there who are liabilities, right? So if Arizona's smart, they attack those liabilities and attack the weaknesses. Our fucking special teams has to be the worst unit in the NFL. But it has been for a long time.
But Stank, I will say though, Trace McSorley is not Purdy. He's not any of these other guys that has this unique skill set. He's just a guy, dude. He's thrown 69 passes. I think he's completed 30% of them. He hasn't thrown a touchdown. I think he's actually only thrown one touchdown, right? Maybe one, and thrown 4 picks. He's not a dude. Whereas we face guys that used to be the dude. And I don't think
Brock Purdy wasn't a dude until he faced us either.
Brock Purdy in college was the dude. He wasn't drafted on accident.
But again, Brock Purdy's got better weapons and a much better defense around him.
D-Hop is a pretty good fucking weapon.
He's one guy. Don't give me James Conner. And I know J.J. Watt is 90 now, and he had a good game last week. But yeah, DeAndre Hopkins to me is still a fantastic receiver. Probably top 5, arguably.
Moore's a good receiver
for
too.
Sure.
He just hasn't had a lot of opportunities. Moore, I think, not DJ Moore. What the fuck is his name? The other rookie they drafted.
Are you talking about? I want to say Ronald, but it's not Ronald. It's Rolando. Or is it Ronald? Ronald. It's Ronald. No, it's Ronald. It's an R. Yeah.
Anyway. Somebody in the chat can correct us.
No, it's one of the R. I don't know why I'm blanking out now. I'm following your lead. It's an R first name.
I'm old, bro. Don't follow my lead. I'm in.
But listen, no. Christian McCaffrey. You think about Debo Samuel. I know he got hurt. That whole San Francisco team is better than the Cardinals. Their offensive line is better. Their defense is probably the best in the league. Arizona isn't that. So I'll be honest, I'm still not a Brock Purdy believer. I think he's going to get exposed at some point or another in the postseason. That's why, like, I don't necessarily buy it. I know he's playing well now. There's going to be some tape on him. We'll see if he can do it in the postseason. But I don't think Trace McSorley is going to have a lot of the benefits that Brock did in the game coming up this weekend. Like, I do understand, again, it's warranted, the hesitation, the questions, especially on the staff and especially with Bowles. Arizona's just not good. Like, yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, really good. Would we argue that he's, comparable to Jamar Chase? And Carlton Davis played a fantastic game against him. So if you get that kind of effort against the Arizona Cardinals, they're not putting up 30 points. They'll be lucky to put up 20. Like, that's not conceivable to me.
Well, we put up 20, Zach. That's the thing. If they give up 20, are we going to score 20?
If they do the play action, and if they pass on first down and they don't go away from it hardcore with a lead, like, things again that look, I don't try to pretend like I know more than any of the coaches on the staff, even though I disagree with some of the things they do, even though we have different ideas of, like, conceptually how to approach different schemes and parts of the game. But I do believe that these guys are professionals, that they are smart, and that they're going to sit there and look at the film and look at what worked, because that's what they do every week, right? For better or worse. And maybe some days or some weeks they can find different things that they think worked that we disagree with, and some things that didn't work that we think did work. But when you look at the Cincinnati tape, I cannot imagine a scenario where Byron and Todd and them are going to sit back and be like, we just need to do the exact same game plan. As long as Tom doesn't turn it over, we're going to win comfortably. You see it working in the first half. Now, Todd said today, so he talked to the media, we had availability with him. And one of the comments that Bowles made was about going away from play action in the second half and going away from the aggressiveness on offense. And he said that the Bengals took that away with their defense. But if you go look in the second half, 75% of the first downs, the first play on a series on that first down was a running play. Yep. So the Bengals didn't take it away. You took it away from yourself, either assuming that they would take it away or just, like we talked about, thinking the 17-3 lead was enough. I know Todd has already had a head coaching gig. I know he's been part of this staff for a while. I know he's 15 weeks into this season. I think he's still learning. I hope he is, at least. Otherwise, the Bucs aren't going to make the playoffs, and he's never going to be a head coach again. But I think week 15 at least showed us that maybe that Byron and Todd are still capable of learning and still adjusting. Again, they did it in the first half. Can they do it for a full game? I'm hopeful, maybe to the fault, but logic says that they should.
And
you're leaving out
going back to what Todd said, like, I don't know enough football to comment on whether or not the Bengals gave a certain look that forces Tom to go to a run check, or if they see a certain look and they're like, you know what, let's run. This is actually in our favor to go ahead and attack that way. But I think too often, like, the teams that are good are the teams that do what they do well every single week. And if you try to take away their run, they still run the ball at you. If you try to take away their, deep passing game, they still force feed you the deep passing game. They are going to die by it, or they're going to fucking win with it. Like, that's just how their mentality is. And I think the Bucs sometimes maybe try to get too cute. And, Byron is a young play caller. I know he's been doing it for a while, but he's not BA. He's not Shanahan. He's not, as much as I fucking hate his face, he's not fucking Sean Payton. And I think to flip that coin, the Cardinals don't have that guy either. And so that's what Brock Purdy had going for him. He also had these weapons. He had this offensive line. Like, I honestly, with all my negativity on this show tonight, I don't think that the Cardinals can beat us, especially on their offense. But their defense does pose a litany of fucking schemes that bother the Bucs, especially the Bucs who don't have a full starting offensive line unit. Like, they like to blitz from all sorts of angles. Like, they like to get pressure on you, and they have really physical linebackers. One of their linebackers could be a fucking safety, and he was a safety in college. And he played like 4 fucking positions. Like the guy at Clemson. Like, they have skilled players on that side of the ball that could affect the Bucs. And so what happens if the Bucs see certain looks and decide to try to become a power football team against them, and then it becomes a 14-13 type of game. And then you're like, any moment, like, a bounce could go any way, and you could lose a game like that. That's where that's where my negativity comes in. Like, that can happen. And nothing has shown me so far this season that they're willing to not allow something like that to happen, because they want to shorten the game. They want to play good defense. and they don't want to take risks, which is funny because last week they didn't take risks and they turned the ball over 4 fucking times. So it, like, all those comments from 2 weeks ago bit Todd in the ass hardcore for 2 straight weeks, basically, because Tom just turned the ball over nonstop, even when he wasn't really making risky throws or decisions. He was just fucking making bad throws.
But that fearful mentality, that safe mentality has always been death in the NFL. You can't be
in every
scared
sport
and play scared and play conservative, or it will eventually. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It fucking comes true every single time.
But it's got to be selective too, though. Like that's the thing is Todd is showing flashes of creativity or aggressiveness.
Yeah.
He's letting we want him to be aggressive and we want him to be creative. We don't want Ryan Suckup kicking 55-yard field goals. That's not where you do it. The Geo play, I think, actually would have probably worked
Love the play
if
call.
it was executed right, but it wasn't, and you didn't need to do it there. So that's the part that's tough for me because
I think you did need to do it there. I felt like we'd lost momentum in that.
It was the beginning of the second half.
I'm just saying. I felt like I could. I don't know. Maybe it's my PTSD. Maybe it's my PTSD. But I felt like we needed to maintain control of the game, and I did. I really liked the play call. What I don't understand, I'll never be able to understand, is where the miscommunication was. Right? We don't run fakes very often, so you would assume everybody coming off the sideline, everybody coming in that play, all knows the play call. So whether it's the failure with Gio, the fucking snap count was wrong, he wasn't ready, or the fucking special teams coach made a mistake. I don't know where the failure came. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Ridiculous, unexcusable.
But think about the flip side. Like, let's just say Gio catches it, runs for the first down, and then they take it down, and let's just say just kick a field goal. Then it's 23. Like, they probably find a way to hold on and beat the Bengals. Like, they probably don't turn it over 4 other times after. But guys, that's how close they are. Like, I know it sounds crazy,
but that's the NFL. Every team feels close.
Not San Francisco.
Maybe not for San Francisco, but
yeah, no, I get.
But look at that game. That game was a momentum game too, right? Yeah. They come out, they get a good kick return. We sack Purdy, and they call roughing the passer, and it puts them, Purdy, before Purdy even fucking runs a real play, they have the ball at the 50-yard line. They get a decent run. They score real easy. The pressure's off at that point. Like, momentum matters.
Yeah,
especially when you have a mentally fragile team like we do. It's like as soon as that shit happens, it's like, oh, here we go. Fucking again.
But Stank, beyond that, we ended up making it 7-7, and then a holding penalty takes the touchdown right off the board.
Yep.
So at that moment too, like, does the unraveling not happen if we score? Does Brock Purdy's asshole tighten up a lot more when it's a 7-7 game and he's not operating and playing with fire like his coach usually had? Like, I think Shanahan continues to call the game as he calls it, and the Bucs continue to make their defensive mistakes, but I feel like you get more you can at least hang with that team. And too often this year, this team feels like they're out of it. They're not able to hang with it. But back to that punt, Zach, like, even if they don't get that punt, that fake punt, and Gio isn't ready for the snap count because it's supposed to be quick so that the defense can't recover when you see that they created the gap that you like, the look you like. So he just wasn't ready. Hit him in the fucking face. Didn't work out. We sack Joe Burrow for a 26-yard sack, and it comes back. And then that changes again. And then they score plays later. Not the very next play, but plays later. Like, we held them until they finally scored. And then beyond that, if just one of those turnovers is a punt, this team probably takes a deep breath and we win. Like, that's all. They just could not take that breath. They just kept getting pounded and pounded. They couldn't. The bell wouldn't ring so that they could go back to their corner. You could only take so many hits. Eventually you gotta be able to take them and get up and get them back. Like, that, until that happens, sometimes you just can't do anything about it. And that's what happened to that team. They got fucking demolished. And it was the opposite of what happened. It was basically Apollo Creed, when this guy went throwing the fucking Todd, throw in the fucking towel, punt on third down, please, anything. Didn't happen. Got destroyed.
Yeah. No, I think, though, the problem is like, you can look at it 2 different ways. Like, everything you just said is fair and accurate. But does that mean that they're super close, or does that just mean that they're always going to have those types of issues, like holding them back? I don't necessarily feel like they're close to being a really good team or being like the teams of the last 2 years. But I think they're really close to being able to win the next 3 games because of their opponents. And then you think about the division. You think about what's at the end of the year if they are able to win those 3 games. And then I think if that happens, we reassess our expectations in the postseason, right? Like if they rattled off 3 and they started to do some of these things more consistent and less of the issues, I think we have a bigger chat about, can they win a game? Can they make a run? And right now, that's probably too far ahead. Fine. Like, we'll just look at the Arizona game then. And again, the Cardinals are just
Bad.
They're bad. And all around, I mean, I don't know.
They're bad, but it's still the NFL. It's
I know.
Still on prime time. It's still fucking Christmas Day. Everybody's family's watching. Everybody wants to make a name against Tom Brady so they can get, they can bring him the interception ball so he can fucking.
Sorley's gonna do it.
No. Here's my thing.
Zach, how long have you been a Bucs fan, bro?
I know. I get it. All the quarterbacks that have beat them.
I held it in all week last week because I had a feeling that the San Francisco 49ers game was so embarrassing for this team that they were going to come out and try to punch the Bengals in the mouth and catch them off guard. And they fucking did. And I was like, dude, we're going to win this fucking game. And I didn't say just not to jinx them. And then, I kind of tweeted out a couple little cryptic tweets, whatever. And I thought I was spot at halftime. I was like, holy shit, dude. I fucking knew it. This team they've woken up. And then they ran on first down on the very next drive right out of halftime. And I was like, oh no. And then they didn't run any motion. They didn't have any fucking pre-snap
they
candy.
had four turnovers in 10 plays.
And then the fake punt. And I was so excited. I was like, oh no. Oh, went from excited for the fake punt to, oh fuck. And then it just fell apart. But I will look back again at the Cardinals game and I said, maybe that second half being so fucking embarrassing, maybe that again wakes them up to a different level. I feel like this team just needs ass kicking for whatever reason. They're a bunch of vets and a few sprinkled younger pieces, but they seem like they just need an ass kicking or an ass chewing. Because they're
from
used
who
to that.
though?
But they don't. That's what I'm saying.
Well, 12's lost his shit so many times.
12 can't yell.
It's like the dad who keeps yelling, bro. The kids.
No one cares anymore. Yeah,
and they don't care anymore.
It's
bro.
not Todd's style. He's not going to all of a sudden go from being Dungy to being fucking Shiano. It's not going to happen. So I think that they've just grown accustomed to that kind of tough love, and BA not being there all of a sudden, and Tom Brady. I think honestly, he's not as loud to these people anymore. He just isn't. He's been there for so long, and I think that just they need their ass kicked. Maybe getting kicked by another team is what they are kind of replacing it with. Who knows? It sounds negative, but I still think that they end up beating the Cardinals. No doubt. It's just one of those things where it's going to be like 17-3, 17-. I don't know. Or will it be an ass kicking? Will they finally beat the shit out of this
positivity,
team?
I still have doubts.
Well, listen.
They could beat the shit out of them.
Bruce Arians isn't going to be the head coach all of a sudden again. But what does his new role actually entail? Maybe that's just what it is. Just yell at the guys.
Collecting a paycheck.
Wow.
But that's what I'm saying. Maybe you just give him one role with his job title, and that's, hey, we just need you to go down there and chew these guys out every once in a while. You don't have to coach them up. We don't need just go yell at them for
I don't think he would do it because it would be an overstep, and he really wants Todd to figure it out. That's his guy, and I get it, man. There has to be some delineation of power, right? He can't be the guy to do that. He just can't.
Yeah, I'll agree with Stank, but I think also you don't necessarily have to be that way. Tony Dungy won.
He's there on the golf cart.
No,
I'm sure he's talking to these guys in practice.
What I'm saying is you don't need to be that kind of coach to win. Tony Dungy did it and never fucking cursed. But I think that this group of players has grown accustomed to a certain style. He knows
but Tony Dungy,
how to get the most out of
did
them.
it with consequences, bro. If you were not doing your job, you were not going to play. Yeah. You were not going to be on the team anymore.
But on one side of the ball,
if you were on defense.
Yeah, but on one side of the ball, you got away with anything because
on the other side, on offense, it didn't.
He had Monty Kiffin. Monty Kiffin's voice couldn't curse by the end of the first quarter because of how he was yelling at everybody, right? And John Gruden obviously was the same way, but he was up for the whole team. But I have a feeling that Tom Moore was that guy with the Colts. He was there, and he's a crotchety old man. I'm pretty sure he went up to anytime fucking Marvin Harrison ran the wrong route. I'm like, hey, you fucking piece of shit. The fuck are you running out there? And that would be like, oh, shit. I don't want to get cussed out by Tom Moore because he was an old grumpy curse out, and it was really low, and you could tell like it was going to get embarrassing. They don't have that.
That Belichick anger, bro. Like you just that quiet. You knew he was talking, gonna rip you. Really quiet.
That grumpy dad gargling voice at dinner table. You're like, it wasn't loud, but you could fucking feel the anger coming out. Like he was gonna throw a fucking chicken or a knife at your fucking skull.
That's what's crazy to me, Zach. I always go back to this shit. You look at that room, bro. Look at the room full of Hall of Famers. Tom Moore's a Hall of Famer. Obviously, fucking Tom Brady is the Hall of Famer. You got that offensive room, Clyde Christensen, BA's still in the fucking building. Mm-hmm. You got so many incredible minds, right? That every play is in the playbook. Okay,
Yeah.
you want to run no huddle? Tom Moore fucking perfected it in Indy. You want all the things that we see us do. I mean, it's in every fucking NFL playbook. So what we've seen up to this point, they've all agreed upon. They've all agreed to be conservative. They've all agreed that they're not going to use a whole lot of motion. They're not going to use a whole lot of play action.
What changed before the first half against Cincinnati?
Desperation. I think at this point, the desperation is real. It has to be, right?
So wouldn't that apply then in the next game too? And listen, I agree.
I agree that
I'm trying to like think through it.
I agree they continue down that path, but the picture I'm trying to paint is the responsibility falls on everybody, including 12, for this weird fucking conservative fear-based offense that we've seen all season, and maybe justifiably he's scared for his life out there because the pieces are different, the pieces are inexperienced, and he's not willing to turn his back 10 times a game with that type of line. Maybe that's the case at this point. Maybe he's like, fuck it, you know what, we don't have any other option now than to throw
Stank, but like Zach is saying though, and I felt that too, they did it against the Bengals for an entire half.
That's what I'm saying. At that point, they've already reached that point where like we have to, no matter what we gotta do.
And the Bengals are not a bad team. Like they wiped the fucking floor with a very good team, a team that some people think will make it back to the AFC Championship, and a team that's beaten the fucking kings of the AFC, as everyone keeps fucking crowning them, in the Chiefs. How many times in a row now? Like 3 times or 4 times in like the whatever the fuck that number was. That they're not a fucking squad that could just they're not a laughing stock.
I think we caught them off guard too. I don't think Cincinnati.
But if they continue doing what they're doing in the second half, or Tom Brady decides not to fucking hand off an overly inflated ball to Lenny Fournette, like maybe things change.
Yeah.
By the way, we figured that out, Zach. That fumble only occurred because the ball was overinflated and Tom's handoff hand. It's
that's what we need to check. We need to see if the Bucs have like a deflating guy, because he basically was cleared of charges. So,
I'm pretty sure BA was in charge of that, and
add it to his, give him another role. That's what I said. Keep the job title for BA. They seem to chew people out every once in a while, and just make sure that the equipment, is how this quarterback.
People wanted to know why he was really on the sidelines in New Orleans. That's what he was doing. He was checking the people.
I wish we could find out what was said that made the Bucs basically act out of character and do the things we wanted to see.
We're gonna find out, Zach. It's just only a matter of time.
Well,
right?
I mean,
me and Sammer, we're gonna find out. Couple Crown and Coke.
Get to the bottom of it.
Couple 10 Crown and Coke. Sitting with the old ball coach. We're gonna find
to the bottom of it, because
we're gonna be nude in a jacuzzi, just the 3 of us, not you obviously, and we're gonna have our Kangles on. We're gonna Crown and Cokes in each hand, like one in each hand. No joke. There'll be 6 of them out there. We might even have one of those little floating fucking drink, balloon type deals going on.
They don't work. Those things don't work, dude.
Whatever, man. You gotta put in extra bubblage underneath. That's why. And we're gonna find out. We're gonna be like, hey, listen, BA, what the fuck happened, man? Explain to us like we're fucking 3 years old. What the fuck happened here? And he's gonna tell us, and we're not gonna tell anybody.
And to your point, Stank, about like the Bucs catching the Bengals off guard. I mean, Carlton Davis, shutting down Jamar Chase in that first half, like that's not catching him off guard. That's great play, right?
Yeah, it is.
I think you talk about Joe Tryon-Shoyinka getting the sack, like that's just great play. I think the Mike Evans getting open, him and like Tom Brady finding each other, haven't been able to get on the same page. They were early on in that game. Russell Gage being involved, like I think you're right. They caught him off guard, but that's not why they were being successful. I think they were being successful because they were doing things out of character,
being aggressive,
that were sensible and aggressive. But like, whatever caused the Bucs to do that, I have to believe this week they went back and looked and said, why did we decide to get aggressive in the first half? Okay, well, it worked. Why didn't it work in the second half? And obviously one of the answers is the turnovers. I hope that the coaching staff and the people looking at that, the players, are like, well, it didn't work because we changed our whole approach from the first half. Let's try that approach for 4 quarters and see what happens. And the results are, against Arizona especially, like they're going to be good. So that's where I am hopeful. That's where I'm coming from. If they don't, look, you're putting your own up, you're putting your career up for jeopardy if you don't. Because then if you're going to keep losing and you're not going to make the postseason, that's Todd, that's all these guys basically saying, we're not fighting for our jobs. We're not fighting for our playoff life. Right. And you mentioned desperation. exists now more than it did a week ago. So we should see even more of those.
Every week is right. Every week it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. The margin for error. We can't keep on saying, "Oh, we're in first place," because eventually we probably won't be. I don't know. Maybe everybody loses out and we still make the playoffs. Fucking 6-11 or whatever the stupid.
No, because they play the Panthers and Falcons. Though.
Oh yeah,
so
okay. It's not.
So
possible.
that desperation maybe is what the Bucs need. Maybe they need this. Like maybe they need to feel like they're in an elimination game to actually like.
Maybe we've just been bored ever since. Devin White said we were bored. We've looked bored.
Listen,
ever since that.
There's a lot of teams in different sports that have to have their back against the wall to get into where every game feels like the playoffs until they finally get into the playoffs. And then once they get in there, they're so normalized by that pressure that it just actually works in their favor.
I'm like that. I do not produce well with no pressure. I need to be about to be choked the fuck out in order to really produce. That's when I do my best work.
That's why when I'm in town, I'll make it a point to just stand in the corner of his bedroom, he and his wife, and because that helps him give her the best.
It gives me the pressure I need. That's not weird. It's not really weird if you think about it.
It's not. I'm helping out a friend, and I'm not like looking at all the details that are going on down there. I mean, every now and then, an elbow and be like, "Hey, dude, try this," or I'll give him a couple moves here and there, but nothing like that.
Have you ever gotten
overstep?
Have you ever gotten notes? Anybody ever broken down the film on you? It really is beneficial, honestly.
It is.
I feel like is it like an angry film breakdown or is it like a
it can be.
It really depends. It depends on my mood. It depends on my mood, and it depends on what Sasha has told me in the post game press conferences, right? Of what she thought she was expecting and what the team came with. Did the team come out flat? Did they underperform? Was she not expecting them to, fall flat on their? There's a lot of factors that go into it, Zach. So
but when you're coaching Stank Up afterwards, though, are you going Todd Bowles or Bruce Arians? Like, are you chewing him out, or are you like?
I like to break him down and then build him back up.
He does. Coach me hard. He actually coaches me hard. Like I'm soft, and then he coaches me, and I'm hard.
Oh, literally.
Literally. Yeah, I really can't get hard any other way, honestly.
I got to yell at him, dude. I mean, there's and Jack, I'm doing it as a friend. You know that. I'm not doing it like in some
completely as a friend.
It's not a weird
beautiful
thing.
friendship.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
It's unique.
I'm sure you got a buddy, maybe it's Jay. Maybe Jay would come in there, sit in the corner, take notes, watch what you're doing, and give you some constructive criticism later on, There's nothing wrong.
We'll keep that on the show sheet. We'll use that.
I think so. Listen, I could see him in the jacket and the tie that he wears at the hockey games. Just over there taking notes, whiteboard, or whatever he's got to do.
He'll definitely be overdressed. So if you and the missus are nude, he'll definitely be overdressed.
In this scenario, I guess I'm underdressed. So
you're dressed for the job. Obviously, he's way overdressed.
People in the chat want to know who are we playing. All right, Zach, listen, check it out. You're so positive about this shit. I need to know specifics. What do you think the Bucs have to do against whatever specific whether it's defense, whether it's Cliff Kingsbury, like what he does, like what do the Bucs have to do to get this win? Like what are your focal points? Or
major keys.
What are your major keys?
What are your major keys?
Well, definitely pass the ball more than you run it. I mean, I know that's a simple answer. It's one of the things, though. If you look at the Arizona Cardinals, I mentioned that they're giving up more points than any other NFL team this season. Just from top to bottom, they're 32. They're at the very bottom. They've given up more points than anybody else. But if you look specifically at their rushing defense and their passing defense, their rushing defense is actually in the top 15, 16 teams. So they're in the upper half. They're in the bottom half, though, of passing, right? And then, again, you take that and couple it with the fact that the Bucs last week, passing on first downs, were able to have a lot more success. The Bucs, 100%. I got this from Warren Sharp, CBS. 100% of the time that the Bucs passed on first down against Cincinnati, they got another first down in that series. 100%. They didn't not get a first down every series where they passed.
So you're telling me when you're trying to get first downs, you usually get first downs?
Or when you pass on first down, yes.
So when you're trying to get first downs, you're not trying to get to third down.
But wouldn't you rather like being third manageable?
Yeah, wouldn't that be a little bit safer, Zach?
I think it's safer.
It is safer. But it's not a path.
Manageable sounds safer than. So why are we going for the end zone?
Well, why are we asking at the hottest chick we should go to kind of the medium, try to get the medium chick at the bar, try to get that 5 or 6, try to get her to go home with you. That's more manageable.
To be fair, it's not even about managing though, because wasn't there a 1st and 1 where they also didn't take a shot, they ran the ball, the most take a deep shot.
That is the most. That was the most Like, they could not say no to the first and one. Like, dude, we can
couldn't.
run on
They
first
couldn't.
down and get a first down. We're going to fucking make sure everyone remembers that we did get a first down on first down by running the goddamn ball. They couldn't help themselves, Zach.
So, like, that's
Even the Bengals were disappointed. They were like, oh.
Even the Bengals. That's the most obvious part. You pass more on first down. And listen, to be fair, 17 times against Cincy, they did pass on first down. 16 times they ran. So, in theory, they did pass it more than they ran it on first down, but just even more of that, like lopside that even more. The other issue is, again, don't have Ryan Suckup kicking outside of 50 yards. Like, that's just not going to work. I don't mind the trickery. I don't know if it's got to be the fake punt or, the Devin Tompkins, like, end around or whatever you want to do. Like, I don't mind mixing that in from time to time.
What about passing the ball to Tom Brady?
I don't love that.
You didn't like that one?
That's one that, like, I don't mind it once every few weeks or every couple months or whatever. I don't even know the like time frame on.
Twice on the same series though?
Not twice. Yeah, definitely not that. Don't do that. But listen,
what about when Tom's saying no to the passing running back?
Don't throw it to me.
Should you still pass it?
No. Absolutely not.
Making sure, man. Making sure.
Also, like, I don't know enough of the background of guys, but, like, is Leonard Fournette the best non-QB QB on the team? Like, somebody has to be more of a pure passer than Fournette, right?
Yeah.
That's not actually a quarterback.
Blaine Gabbert.
That's not, but he is a quarterback, though. I'm talking about, like, position.
Oh, hold the fuck on, Zach.
Yeah,
what?
Blaine plays every position.
Blaine is an athlete. Do you understand what the fuck the distinction is there, man? Like, this is Dion, all right, on the offensive side. Like, he can return punts. Guy can play fucking DT. Like, this guy can do anything you ask him there on the field. What have we been saying, Zach?
Like, it all year, bro.
The Saints have their fucking utility man. Get our fucking Batman out there, dude. What the fuck?
You don't want to see. You don't want to see Blaine over the nose. You don't want to see Blaine over the nose. That's all I'm saying.
Gabbert as a Taysom Hill type runner. That would be probably not good.
I guarantee you, they throw him the pass. He'll fucking catch that. He'll fucking OBJ that motherfucker with one hand, dude.
And Brad Johnson to himself.
And he'll get up and spike it right in the fucking guy's grill, dude. Fuck.
So are you saying that Gabbert should have switched to tight end sooner in his career because he could probably be more of the gadget guy?
Have you seen his legs, dude?
Yeah.
You seen his thighs?
Hey,
you calling him Quadzilla? Like, what's happening here,
dude?
the best thighs in the game.
Absolutely.
And that's saying something. That's saying something. And listen, Gio Bernard gives him a run for his money. We were out there on the field, Penn and Mike were trying to get fucking interviews with players. I couldn't help just staring at Gio's thighs. They were trying to give, Blaine a run for his money, but
problem was we went up to
produce.
Blaine. He was willing to talk to us. We tried to go up and talk to Gio. Gio was running out the back door. Couldn't get.
He was like, "Hey, I got my family out here waiting.
I gotta go. Yeah. So.
I don't know what you guys have done all year to get his attention. I mean, he's been injured.
Listen, once he shaved that mustache, it was all over for that guy.
It was over after that, yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't bring it back. I thought for sure, because that was like the first questions he got in Tampa were like, hey, are you bringing the stash, to Tampa? Is that something you're going to stick with? And he was just like, no. Should have definitely kept that. That was a mainstay. If he can regrow the mustache before Arizona, it's another key to the game.
Well, here's where he fucked up.
I like it. I fucking like that one.
They signed him because of the mustache, and he gets rid of the mustache, and now he's surprised at his playing time. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You knew what the package was. We were signing you because we thought you were going to hit 1,000 yards. We were bringing the stash to town, dude.
Maybe that was like in the contract, and it's like and Jason's like, we're not paying for it, and Gio's like, I'm not wearing it, and so he shakes it off.
Guess you're not touching the ball then, Gio.
I could see the Glazers taking the red pen to that one.
Yeah,
mustache.
We're not throwing to some unmustached individual. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's why Cam Brate's been getting all the targets because he grew the stash this year.
The stash, dude. The stash.
Exactly.
It attracts. It's the target stash.
We're connecting
we need Mike. Mike needs to grow a stash right now.
Mike has no stash.
No, that's it. Hashtag Mike Evans mustache.
He needs the stash. If we want the targets, you grow the mustache.
Mustache Evans.
It's that easy.
Mustache Evans.
Mustache.
That's what it is.
Holy shit. Well, listen, I think we need one more key from you. You gave us 2 keys. Both were solid. So what's your final key?
Yeah. Well, let me think. I gave you offense. I gave you special teams. Let's go to the defensive side where Sean Murphy-Bunting, that's your boy, right? He's getting a lot of playing time. Jamel Dean's banged up. He actually, I thought, played a really good game against Cincinnati. But when he gets his hands on the ball, he's got to come up with those interceptions, man.
Got to squeeze
because
got to squeeze those balls.
Look, man, nobody's coughing. You don't got to turn your head. Just squeeze the ball. Everybody's happy. It's a good thing. You're healthy. You're happy. We're rolling. You're intercepting the ball. And it's funny because we talk about how many times Tom Brady turned it over in the second half. Man, if the Bucs could have got a turnover or two in the second half, I know they did in the first, but maybe they come down with one of those interceptions, and maybe that changes the complexity of the game. So I just think that, you're not always going to get stops on defense just naturally or hold teams to field goals. If a guy like Murphy Bunting, who's being forced into a lot more playing time now than he has been most of the year, can make a big play or two, and he had opportunities. He did have some balls that hit him in the hands. And again, he had a really good game against Cincy. I want to see him build on that. I want to see him do that again because we know we're getting out of Carlton. And for the most part, what we're getting out of a lot of these defensive guys, I want to see Sean Murphy Bunting actually come down with one of these.
He's a guy who operates on confidence too. So the more he gets playing time, the more he builds that confidence. He really grows into, like, that's what happened in that playoff run. And then when he gets down on himself or he's injured or he starts to kind of see field wrong or incorrectly or they yank him or they start playing around with, where they put him on the field, that's when you see his confidence drop and that's when you see him start to struggle and he kind of gets in his own head. He's a young player, though. It's like kind of expected. Most of them are kind of dealing with that for the most part, especially if
that's
they're
the
not.
mental side of the game.
Yeah,
VH3 made some plays, and he was a guy who was so fucking high and so low on confidence. And as he's still in the league, he played his way out of the fucking league.
He's a Gator too, so those guys don't usually come in with much.
Hey, without Vernon, the Bucs wouldn't have beat the Panthers in like week 7, his last year with the team. He stopped McCaffrey on the goal line.
At the goal line.
That's his claim to fame. That's the only time.
I'm pretty sure that one game kept us from like a massive hit in the draft that year too. So fuck you, Vernon. Dude would get like smoked 4 times in a game, and then Monday morning Instagram was full of brand new photos from his modeling shoot. Like,
Yeah, he didn't pan out. It wasn't good. But that's the thing. If you get your hand on the ball, intercept it. I mean, I know the old saying, like, that's why they're DBs and not receivers, but
that's not the case anymore. It's not the case anymore.
No, not at all. I mean, well, think about the guy in Dallas, Diggs, right? Like, everybody jokes about him not actually being that good of a cornerback, but if he touches the ball, he brings it down. And that's why he has so many interceptions for the Cowboys and that they continue to use him and utilize him and helps their defense out. So, I mean, I don't mind. I've always been a fan.
Stephon, though, right?
Say that again.
How can you not have hands of your brother Stephon?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
They argue over who has the best hands. Like these,
but I don't mind guys getting burnt. Though. Like I don't mind my DB get burnt if he can come up with an interception every game, right? Like, and I know that maybe not a direct correlation, but like I don't mind a DB taking a jump on the ball and not getting it if they're able to come up with some big plays too.
Is Antoine playing this week?
Man, I think when I saw today was it's not trending towards him playing. But look, another thing, Keanu Neal and Logan Ryan played better last week than they did against the 49ers. I thought both those guys, vets, came in, did not play well. Nobody did against San Fran. I thought both those guys stepped in. Mike Edwards is supposed to be, even healthier than he was this last weekend. So they're going to be a little deeper there. That's another thing too, right? Like, let's just say Winfield Jr. doesn't play. Let's say Wirfs doesn't play. Jamel Dean obviously isn't going to play. Vita Vea, let's say he doesn't play. Let's say like all these guys don't play and the Bucs find a way to win. Well, then let's say that these guys are getting healthy and they're able to play against Carolina and knowing that basically is to secure the division or not if you beat Arizona this week. Man, I think that you're trending with health in the right direction too, which is just as important as anything this time of year.
Yeah, the other thing too,
sure.
Antoine makes this defense work. Whether the defense itself wants to fucking admit it or not, it doesn't go through Devin White. It doesn't go through Vita Vea as much as he has an impact. But when Antoine is out there, you feel that the defense's brain is out there. Like, he is the smartest guy on the field. That's no knock on Levante. No offense to him, of course, who obviously was fucking, again, not put in the Pro Bowl, which is not something new for us. But Antoine brings that extra, I don't know what it is, but it feels like the defense is smarter because he can move around. He seems to get guys in the right spot, and he seems to cover for the guys around him. He plays so fucking cerebral. He's such a fucking key element, and then the more they can have him on the field, the better it is for this team as a whole, because their defense can really have fun. But going back to Carlton Davis, they played Carlton in a lot of man press against Cincinnati, which for whatever reason we don't see all that often in bigger chunks from Todd. I know his defense is more exotic than I'm gonna fucking try to understand. I'm not him, obviously, but it feels like when we have that guy and Jamel Dean in those man press situations, they really fucking flourish. So I hope me for going in this game, going against a young quarterback with really no options to throw the ball to. I hope that we do the same thing where we like force him to be perfect. We play man press. We try to get the best out of our guys, especially Carlton, because he's so good at that. And you know what? I don't think he struggles with D-Hop. I don't think he struggled with D-Hop when he played him a couple years ago and he was with the Texans still. And I still think that he plays well against that body type, that, you know, Chase, that Devontae Adams, those guys that you would think they don't kill him anymore because he's so confident with how he plays. But I wanted to ask you, Zach, the Cardinals, when they like coming into this game, are they going to try to attack us with the pass, or are they more of a run team? Do they do anything well on offense? I think Cliff is a wannabe Shanahan, wannabe Sean McVay. I don't give him as much credence as people do, but he does have some creativity. He's different. Obviously, he's a younger coach, more from that Madden era. But what do they do well that they can try to hang their hat on and try to kind of force their way down the throat of the Bucs?
It's so interesting because if it was Colt McCoy, I would think they would kind of stick to a lot of the things offensively that they normally do. I wonder with the Trace McSorley if they're going to kind of switch up what they do, right? If they're going to lean on a guy like James Conner more and try to run up the gut a little bit more. You got to figure out a way to get DeAndre Hopkins involved, especially with no Kyler Murray. He's the most explosive player on the team. So even if you want to lean into the run and use James Conner more because you're on your third string quarterback or running back or quarterback, you're still going to want to try to find D-Hop. And man, I mean, again, they're banged up at multiple positions. They're banged up there. I don't think Ertz is even playing. He's been banged up. He's out. He's been out for like a month now. He's done for the season. He's another guy that would have been a playmaker. I just really don't know how they're going to be able to get DeAndre Hopkins the ball creatively on their third string quarterback. I think they're going to lean on James Conner. They're going to do a lot more bubble screens probably with him. Benjamin was another guy that was on that team. They cut him out of nowhere like 4 or 5 weeks ago. So this is a team that's even more banged up than the Bucs are, honestly. I mean, as much as Kingsbury might want to try to get creative, most of his scheme rolls around using a guy like Kyler Murray who can run and break the pocket. Well, now he's in a position where he doesn't have a quarterback like that. He also doesn't have a vet that he thinks can sit in the pocket and scheme guys open, whether, that's having DeAndre just try to cross with some of the other guys, or like, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't think he can get creative with the personnel he's going to have out there. I think they're too banged up, which means they're probably going to be pretty vanilla. I'd be shocked to see him letting McSorley throw it, outside of 15 yards often. I would be shocked to see that.
Another thing, I think our staff knows this Arizona team. Like, obviously we have a lot of guys that came from that team. I think they still probably keep an eye. I know for sure, the Arians still watch a lot of Arizona football. Yeah. I think that we probably have a good idea of what they're about. One of the things that scares me is that Sammer talks a lot of shit about JJ Watt, and he has for years. Yes. I mean, there's so, like, look at it's just the amount of trash that Sammer talks about JJ Watt. I'm sure JJ's seen it. Good. Do you think that's going to have an effect on the game? I don't even know if JJ's playing. That's how closely I follow everybody. I bet you he's going to tweet about how hard he's fucking working and how he's going to accidentally have all his fucking, all his dumbbells out behind him in some sort of fucking interview with, his kids or some shit. I'm sure he's going to remind everyone how he's, injured, but I'm still the hardest working guy in the entire NFL. Fuck that guy, dude. Fuck him. Does that have an effect on the game? All that negativity towards it could. Yeah. I think that's what I thought. I think he definitely has, his bots out there on Twitter that kind of find all the info about him, and he kind of combs through to find, the bulletin board material, and he'll probably post like a generic, quote on Instagram to kind of offset it. Like, work hard, play hard, but not until you work harder or something like that. God, I hate that motherfucker, dude. Oh, you're not going to outwork me. I might I might have a broken leg, but you're not going to outwork. Dude, shut the fuck up. They all work hard. It's the NFL, dude. It's the adult men's league, all right? Cut it out. He just had a really good game last week. I think he just had one of the better games of his season this year last week. So I don't know if he'll duplicate that as a vet. It gets harder and harder to do that week to week. So if you just balled out, he wasted it. He wasted it on a team not led by Tom Brady. He knew he only got that one this year. He knows that. Come on, and unlike Stammer, every time I see JJ Watt tweet, I get motivated. No, he really speaks to me as a I have broken multiple phones, Zach, by throwing them at the wall when I see his fucking tweets somehow get across my timeline, because I make it a point to not have him come across my timeline. And that whole thing, Zach is going to tag you in every one of JJ Watt's tweets. Dude, you know how many people do that to me? I fucking hate it.
And it's like the most
Auto
generic
tag.
Hallmark fucking greeting card fucking phrase that he'll put up, and it'll be his face and like the fucking shadows. Like, dude, you got a fucking cameraman to take
So
a picture
you gotta
of
feel
you.
the same way about Russell Wilson then, because he's
Yes,
very similar.
He's fucking he's more like
he might be worse.
He's more like cringy dad to me. JJ Watt is that fucking douchebag that wants to make sure everyone knows that he's still working out. Okay, Jay, we get it, dude. You're huge. Cool. No one gives
He
a
is
fuck.
yoked.
No one
He is
cares
yoked.
at Thanksgiving that you're fucking working out. No one gives a shit. He's like a vegan. He
I do.
constantly has to make sure that you know he's a vegan. We get it,
I do.
JJ. We fucking get it. We
My
get
life
it.
my life would be measurably worse if it's not for JJ's tweets.
He ain't gonna do shit, dude. He ain't gonna do shit.
He's done a lot for me. Okay.
Do you think it's weird that he has another brother, actually two technically, but I'm talking about TJ Watt, and like TJ is nothing like that. TJ doesn't do that at all.
That's what I'm saying. That because dude's a fucking douchebag, man. All right.
Kind of like you, Sam, or your brothers are nothing like you, and you're like the JJ Watt of the family.
No,
So,
I'm
I can
clearly
see
the yeah, dude. No. I took so much of the good sperm that whatever's left behind was just fucking pieces at that point.
Damn.
Science.
That is science. All right, Zach. Enough of this bullshit. No one cares about any of this stuff anymore, right? No one cares about the Bucs. No one cares about the Cardinals. All right.
That's right.
JJ Watt.
You're
That was
the
all
only
about JJ
person.
Watt.
You're the only fucking person in this whole city
Only person
that
who
believes
cares.
in the Bucs
Yeah,
anymore.
you're probably gonna be the only person watching it. When we get that Nielsen report for like the fucking Sunday Night Football,
Ugh,
it's gonna be like
me.
Tampa 1, maybe 1.5 because you might have a dog in the room, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna be in like a food coma. I'm gonna be drinking coquito. You guys probably don't even know what that is. I'll be sick and just like in a depressive state, just curled up watching the Bucs lose.
They're gonna win. They're gonna win comfortably.
Tracy
They're gonna
McSorley.
win, bro. They're gonna win by double-digit points. You guys are gonna enjoy your time.
Listen,
Hope
Zach,
you're right.
it's your first time on our show, right? And on this show, there comes a moment
Oh,
where
yeah.
we have to ask you the tough questions.
Doing.
And these tough questions determine, Zach, if you ever come back on this fucking show. Because if you answer correctly, when you do come back, you get one hell of an intro from me, right?
Wow.
Today, I gave you a fucking pretty vanilla intro. I didn't want
It
to
was a
get
terrible
your,
intro, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
I didn't want
Terrible.
your ego to be too high, but once I know that I can trust you within our circle, then I really go into your Wikipedia page and I really start to pull out some good shit. All right? You're going to need this, all right? So now, here's two fucking
I'm nervous.
hard-hitting
I'm nervous
questions.
for you, Zach. Honestly, I'm
Zach,
nervous.
don't fuck this up, man. You've been good so far. You've been a little over positive, not too, like I'm grinchy right now. I don't like your holly jolly bullshit right now, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like I'm waiting for like Mariah Carey to pop up from behind you, start fucking humming and singing and bullshit. But
Oh, that'd be
listen-
awesome.
No,
With
fuck-
JJ Watt.
Oh
lifting.
no! There's only one thing I hate more than JJ Watt. That's fucking Mariah Carey music, fucking dude. I can't stand that Christmas shit. Dude.
What?
Can't
Did
stand it.
not see that coming. What a
Can't-
twist.
Hey, she was hot back in the day, though. I'll give her that much. But not when she started singing Christmas music. That bitch went right down fucking hill, man. I swear to God. All right, Zach. 2 questions. This is what people tune in here for when we have a new guest. All right. We can all agree that chicken wings are the greatest sports and football food known to this galaxy.
Mhm.
Correct? Don't argue.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
When you were having said chicken wings, Zach, are they slobbered, covered in fucking sauce? Or are they dry as a fucking piece
Dry
of
rub.
bark?
I definitely like the dry rub wings. Big fan.
Great.
But
Fuck
I
you.
don't. But
Oh.
I also don't feel like I'm committed to one type of wing. Like I feel like I'll have different wings at different places. Like some days I'm in a like Parmesan garlic mood.
Oh, yeah.
Some days I'm in a hot wings mood. Some days I'm in a dry rub mood. It just, it depends on the place too, right? Like I'm sure y'all have been at different spots that do different styles, better or worse. So for me, it all just depends.
Wait, but here, the perfect dry rub wing is on one side. The perfect wet one is on the other side. Which one you picking up first?
Ooh, man, probably the dry rub.
Oh,
Probably the
my
dry rub.
man. All right, one for one.
I'll give it to him only because he's choosing between the best dry rub and the best saucy wing. So the best dry rub is still good. Like there are some good dry rub wings
Yeah.
out there, just not my preference, obviously.
I would say it's harder. I would say it's harder to do a very good dry rub wing than a sauced wing.
That question didn't matter, by the way. That was just that's a fake question. It didn't really matter. The next question is the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
I
is,
think you know. I think you know what's
Oh,
coming.
I do.
this
I
is
think I
the
do.
one. This is the one that
Right.
fucking matters,
Yeah.
Zach. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to be one to tell you to lie on the stand, but
Oh, you're gonna hate it. You're
Lie-
gonna hate my answer.
you might want to lie on the stand.
You're gonna hate my
Are
answer.
you dipping?
no.
Are you dipping those
Oh,
wings
no.
in ranch or blue cheese?
So I want to be clear. When I order wings, I tell them to keep it. I don't need either. I don't want
good.
ranch or blue
Purist.
cheese.
All right.
Acceptable answer.
Acceptable.
But if I do,
Uh-oh.
no, Jack. Don't do it.
I
Necessary.
fucking hate blue cheese.
Oh.
I hate it. And I purposely don't say anything. We all do your Twitter spats about it because I'm like, stay out of it. They're very passionate about blue cheese. I am definitely a ranch guy. But again, I don't actually want blue cheese or ranch when I get
Everything you said on this pod leading up to this moment is
That's
now
right.
without credence and without
I
credibility.
know.
Yeah, you lost a little bit of credibility.
I know.
No, all of it. Like everything
all of
you
it.
said, horseshit. JJ,
Should I just have stopped? Should I have stopped it where I
I
said I
think
don't
you
do
should have.
either?
I don't know why
Yeah.
you
Why'd you go
incriminated
there?
yourself. Why did
Oh,
you
no.
incriminate yourself?
I don't know. Why does Byron Leftwich stop throwing it on first down? We just do
Great
things.
question.
We don't know.
You and Byron
We're
exactly
the
the same.
same. We're two peas in a
Same guy.
pod.
Damn, dude. You're
I'm
the
sorry.
Byron Leftwich of fucking wings, man.
You're the
That's-
Byron
that's not a-
Leftwich of 620 WDAE.
You're
This
Byron
sucks.
Left Wing.
I walked into it.
Byron Blue Cheese Left Wing.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Oh no.
that
Zach,
sucks. I can't do
And
that.
let these lovely people who've watched this nonsense for this long somehow, let them know where they can listen to you, follow you, and hear all your fucking nonsensical takes and positivity and fucking Christmas music, please.
Love Christmas music, by the way, especially Mariah Carey. No, at Zach on the mic, pretty much across all platforms on social media. ZAC on the mic, and then I got the 12 to 3 show, J and Z with Jay Retcher and myself every Monday through Friday at 95.3 WDAE, AM 620, iHeartRadio app streams, pretty much everywhere. But yeah, main thing, social media, at Zach on the mic, and every once in a while you can catch me at a Bucs tailgate too. Here the Loose Cannons have the best.
Oh no,
You're
who's
wrong.
playing it? Zach, real quick. You're for some reason someone asked Todd Bowles what his 5 favorite Christmas songs are.
I
So-
saw that.
Yeah, I guess he's a
Saw
big
that.
Christmas music guy, which has definitely changed the way I look at him, obviously. But he didn't name any Mariah Carey nonsense. He went fucking Temptations. Like, he
Right.
went old school. He had a Luther one in there. But I'm curious, what is your top 2, top 3, whatever? It don't fucking matter. I don't think you can name 5, but maybe you could.
Definitely Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but the DMX version.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely
Okay,
number
I'm down
one.
with that one. I like
Wow.
that one.
That one hits. I like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Like any Christmas they do, it's just they crush.
Hate that shit.
And
No, wait, no, I like that one. What's the other one I fucking hate? It's like some fucking acapella group.
oh no,
What they
I
call it? Group.
I've never heard Temptations sing anything Christmassy, but I know that anything the Temptations sing is just fucking pure gold. So
Is it like
I feel
having-
like they would do a good
is
job.
it about Christmas or is it about fucking?
it's both.
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 Yeah.
All right.
It's fucking
It's the
while
holidays.
Santa comes in to give his presents to do his thing, and he catches them fucking, and it's like
All
the
right.
hottest scene ever. Like,
And then
Yeah.
he takes notes and he tells them afterwards like what they can do
Yeah.
better the next
Yeah.
time. And
All right.
actually, it's you guys. This is another analogy about you guys.
I
Yeah.
like Zach.
I like it.
You're jumping all into our pool, dude. I like that. You were kind of timid at first. You're like a little. You didn't take any of our bait. We tried to get you in. We tried to fucking try to get you on that hook. Didn't have. Then all of a sudden you're jumping in on your own, dude.
I'm trying to make up for the ranch stuff. I'm trying to, I gotta figure out a way.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should.
You know.
You should.
I
Hey,
knew it was gonna hurt. That's why I'm happy we waited till the end.
That's why JJ Watt will never be on the show. Just so you know.
Is he a ranch guy?
He probably is, considering how much he fucking tells us, how hard he works and fucking. He'd probably show up to the show with like dumb, like, "Oh, dude, you guys caught me mid workout. I'm so sorry."
I bet you he makes his own rate.
Oh. Yeah, out of
It's
his
a
own,
Ron
out of-
Burgundy,
out
right?
of his
Like,
out of his own sweat,
1,001.
probably.
Yeah.
Out of his own-
I don't know if you heard that, but
Yeah.
I said 1,000.
He probably makes ranch out of his own fucking sweat, so he can taste his hard work.
Ew.
Yeah, hard work only tastes as good as it is. Whatever the fuck
ranch
he's gonna
sweat.
say. Yeah, ranch, hard work, ranch sweat. Ugh!
You know how much money he would make if he actually bottled that, though? I guarantee there's a market for that.
For sure.
It's weird,
No,
but I guarantee
that's
it.
how we end the show. Bye. No, not happening. That was what? Fuck JJ Watt. Go Bucks.
Hey, out here hanging with the boys, man. They're part of the team. Part of the team, man. Gotta tell you, part of the team.